I spend a lot of time on data in my videos, but I wanted to take a step back today and have a little philosophical moment with you guys. I've spent 18 years in real estate as an agent, a brokerage owner, a trainer, and an investor myself. And I've wrestled with this particular question. And I think this question, different people have different answers to it. And that is housing an investment? Or is it simply the fulfillment of one of our basic human needs, as in like food, shelter, and clothing, one of the original 3 OGs of basic human needs, right? And there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but I've met folks who are like lifelong renters, and then I've met people who have like 1,200 doors and they want more. My experience has been that for most folks, right, they rent until the cost of renting someone else's shelter becomes too expensive. And if they have this realization early enough, they can even transform into an investor, right? Looking for properties to create cash flow, taking advantage of that approximate 4% year-over-year value growth. Yeah, but what does this all mean, right? These are two very different mindsets. They don't really intersect. And so today I kind of just want to spend a little time talking about the middle ground of this, right? Hey, it is Nancy from Nancy Chu Homes, and today we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of 9 factors that influence the decision of home renting versus home owning. This is a question I've really spent like a lot of whiteboard time on, and by the way, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share with you one really big aha that's provided such immense clarity for me and also for my family's personal wealth building journey. But first, please take a moment, pause that video, scroll down to the comments, and let me know if you currently rent or own your home. All right, look, this isn't rocket science, okay? I made a chart for you, and I'm going to post it in the comments section so you can look at it. In the meantime, I'll go over it with you. Factors that influence the decision to rent versus own. Factor number 1, control. If you rent a home, your landlord or management company, they might have ultimate say over any changes that you can make to the property. So let's say you're like, ooh, I really want to paint my walls. They may say no, or they may say, fine, you can paint it, but you got to paint it back, which of course doubles the cost of painting, right? Now, if you own your home, you can pretty much do whatever you want to it, assuming that you don't belong to an overly invasive HOA, homeowners association, that, has a lot of oversight over its members, right? Factor number 2, flexibility, right? Now, you can move if you're renting once your lease ends, right? You're not stuck there. You're not tied down. And this is especially great if you don't really plan on staying in the area for a long time. But if you own your house and you plan on staying for a while, then this, allows you to put down roots. You get to dig into the community, enjoy a sense of stability because, once you're there, once you buy, there were some startup costs for owning, right? You had to put a lot of money down. There were closing costs. So once you own, you really want to be there for a while. Factor number 3, home maintenance. So most of the time when you rent, the landlord or the management company, they maintain most of the responsibility for the maintenance and repairs. Although I will tell you that I have seen, especially if you rent like an entire house, that those responsibilities fall to the tenant. But of course, that is usually commensurate with price. This is of course very different if you own your house, because if you own your house, then all the costs of repairs and maintenance are on you. That's entirely your responsibility, right? Factor number 4, stability. If you rent at the end of the lease term, there is a chance that the landlord could either raise your rent or choose not to renew, especially if they want to occupy the property themselves or sell it. Now, as an owner, as long as you're paying your mortgage, then you won't be asked to leave. And while your monthly payment never really changes over 30 years, if you get a 30-year mortgage, there will likely be some incremental tax increases as you go. Number 5, upfront costs. Now, if you're a renter, you may need upfront rent, security deposit, rental fees. This can total 3 or 4 months worth of rent costs, at least it does in my market area. right? Of course, it changes in other market areas. Now, from a purchasing side, if you own, you will need a sizable down payment unless you qualify for an FHA, which is a minimum of 3%, 3.5% down, or even a VA loan, which you can actually get for 0% down. Factor number 6, taxes. Yeah, if you rent, there's no tax benefit. Nope. But if you own, there is some tax benefit, especially if you itemize when you file your taxes. Factor number 7, building equity. Okay, if you're a renter, you don't build any. Let's be honest. 100% of the money that you're paying goes to help someone else build the equity in their property. So you don't get any of your rent money back, but you do hopefully get a really safe, clean, attractive home for you and your family to live in. Now, if you're a homeowner, home equity, I'm going to give you the definition, is the value of your house minus the amount that you owe on your mortgage. So as you pay over time, right, you get more and more equity in your home. Think of it like a forced savings account, a house piggy bank, if you will. And once you have enough equity, you can even access those funds to do something else. Number 8, appreciation. So for owners of the house, yeah, they get to appreciate. Renters, appreciation is not particularly meaningful to renters because it doesn't do anything for them. However, if you do own your home, as the market over time increases the value of homes, then you get the benefit of appreciation, right? Now, on the flip side, please be aware, the market happens in cycles, which means it goes up and down. And inevitably, you will hit a down part of the cycle when you own a home. And so at some point, you may lose some of the value that you've gained. Now, to gain it back, you may have to ride that cycle back up again, which takes time. Factor number 9, structural or fixture improvements. Now, if you're a renter, as a tenant, any improvement that you do on the structure or the fixtures in a home, well, you either have to take those with you, right? Or if you leave them behind, you've basically paid money to improve the value of your landlord's property, which really doesn't do anything for you. But as a homeowner, you do benefit from improvements that you make on a home because it helps grow that house value. All right, that's the end of my factors for now. Look, the truth is, you really have to decide for yourself. If you have a really good stable job, enough money saved, and plan on being in an area for, 5, 7, 10 years, then yeah, owning might be a better option for you, right? But if you're thinking about a cross-country move in the next 2 years, you're not sure you want to stay, then yes, renting makes a lot more sense for sure. Now, sometimes you may not have a choice, right? Your circumstances may dictate it. Like I have this lovely client right now, but unfortunately, she has to rent because she is in the middle of a divorce. Her current situation just limits her to renting, and that's okay. There's no judgments there. All right, I promised you something. I promised that I would tell you this really eye-opening epiphany that I had about this topic. And it's not that I didn't know it before, it just became very, very clear to me all of a sudden. And it comes back to the question of mindset and a person's relationship with money, right? You ready? All right, here we go. Listen carefully. Savings in the form of cash money in and of itself loses value over time. I'm going to repeat that in a different way. Cash money is worth less over time. I want you to think about that. We all have these people in our lives, right? The ones that think they're doing their best by saving money in the bank. But what is the value of money? What's it good for? Well, it can be traded for goods and services. Yeah, that's it. That's the definition of what money can do. Think of it this way. Historically, what did $1 buy you in America? Okay, guess what? I gave you another chart. Here you go. In 1940, it bought you 3 pounds of sirloin steak. By 1960, it bought you 2 pounds bacon. By 1980, it bought you 3 pounds of bananas. By the year 2000, it bought you 1 jar of ragu spaghetti sauce. And by 2020, it bought you one small Wendy's Frosty. That means that every year, due to the rising costs of goods and services, which is really inflation, right? The worth of what a dollar can buy decreases. So saving money, while is generally a super awesome idea, please note that by the time you retire, the money that you have been diligently saving over time, it may have less buying power than you think. And this is why people sometimes choose to invest their money in things that grow, right? Like either the stock market or more commonly in a home, a tangible investment that even allows your family a place to live. Sometimes rental, you can even generate rental income with a property. And it's also, generational wealth that you can pass down to your children through inheritance. It's just something to bear in mind. If you've ever heard that phrase, a dollar just isn't what it used to be these days. That's what this is, right? And play that thought process out to its logical end, and you start to see why people want to own homes as investment as well as to live in. And look, no judgments. Whatever you choose, buy, rent, but I think it's worth a little more thought. Okay, guys, listen, thank you so much for listening today, and if you found our information valuable, please like, comment, subscribe, so that we can reach more people with our real estate insights. See you guys next week.